Hello, welcome to another Tuesday night Facebook Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I am very happy that you've joined me tonight. We are going to be using a bundle called the Merriest Trees bundle. I've got it right here. We'll wait just a minute to see who jumps on, and then we'll get started. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh the screen. See if I can bring this up so I can see your comments and see who's on. If this is your first time joining me, go ahead and please let me know. Let me know where you're watching from. Hello, Laura. So happy you could join me. Hope you had a good day. I had a very quiet day. Suzanne and I went to lunch. And other than that, I was home all by myself. And believe it or not, I spent almost zero time in the studio today. But that was kind of a nice break after being in here all weekend. Hello, Cher. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you all for coming. Okay, we'll wait about 30 seconds more and then we'll get started. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and jump forward to about the 2-minute mark. And then you'll miss all the waiting for people to get on. And thank you for watching. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in. Just a reminder that today started this seasonal sale. So that is a sale that Stampin' Up! Is putting on from today through November 16. Now, if you're in the Pacific Northwest here, that means that our sale runs today through November 16th at 10:59 p.m. because everything runs on Mountain Time. So it started at 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time this morning and ends at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time on the 16th of November. So, of course, for us, that's 10:59. So if you want to stock up on those ribbons and trims, inks, papers, and the envelopes and things are included in this paper sale. So be sure to check that out. If you go to my online store and you do shop products and then specials, there will be a seasonal sale tab there that you can click on, and it will take you to everything that is currently on sale from the annual catalog. Okay, if it's in the mini catalog or the online exclusives, it's not included in the sale. These are items, ribbons and trims, inks and papers, only from the 2023 to 2024 annual catalog. I took big advantage of that last night. I actually placed my order by 11:10 p.m. because that was 12:10 a.m. Mountain Time, and got all my cardstock stocked up. I did not notice the envelopes, however, until after I had placed my order much later this morning. So be sure to take a look at that. That's not how I shopped last night. So yeah, that didn't work out for me so much, but at least you are well aware of everything at this point. So we're going to move on from that. I've got a host code here if you'd like to use a host code to place an order. And this is the bundle that we are going to be featuring tonight. Now, that is not to say that this is the only bundle we are using, because if you know me at all, you know that I like to show you how to take one bundle and pair it with another, or maybe something else that you may already have in your crafty stash. So I like to inspire you to look at those things, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The Merriest Trees is a photopolymer stamp set. Most of the stamps in my set are not in here because I have them ready to go for our projects. And then you get a set of 26 dies, okay? The really cool thing about this stamp set is that you get this one tree stamp and then you get the detail. But this one tree, when you cut it in different sizes with these dies, you can make it into 5 different size trees. So you can have a whole forest with this one stamp and these dies. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into our first project. I'm going to start with a card, and we are also using the Beary Cute stamp set. I'm not using the dies for Beary Cute tonight, just the stamp set, but there is a, or not the dies, the punch. There is a punch that goes with this set, and just to let you guys know, if you haven't heard, the carryover and last chance lists were released today. This particular set is on the last chance list, so if you want it, now would be a good time. It's not discounted, so if you want it, get it before it's gone. Okay, the Merriest Trees bundle will be carrying, or the Merriest Trees and the Merriest Tree dies will be carrying over. However, they will not be carrying over at the bundle price. So if that is a bundle that you have been looking at, now is the time to get it. This is the card we are going to be making tonight. It's got a couple of different techniques, and it uses the 2 sets. So I really love how this worked out. It also uses the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. This will also carry over. So we're going to be using that tonight. I'm going to show you how I did this. So let's grab our pieces and let's get started. I'm going to start with a Misty Moonlight cardstock. This is a card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, and I've pre-scored it in the center at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to burnish that down with my bone folder. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Then we've got a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I've got a piece of basic white, and this really is just a scrap. And with this, I'm just going to take this piece. This is 4 inches. Doesn't really matter how tall this is, but I'm going to tear this so that we can get our snowbank at the bottom of our card. Okay, so I'm just going to tear this. I'm going to tear it toward me, and I do that so I get this nice edge. Because if I tear it the other way, then there's no edge, okay? And I want that torn edge. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this to our card. And I'm going to do that with some liquid glue just because I want to have a little bit of wiggle room and make sure I get this good and lined up the way I want it. Okay, I'm just barely putting any glue down. So I'm going to line that up and make sure that that's nice and even on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take this piece as it is. I'm going to get rid of that piece. And I'm going to take the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to put this into my folder, and I'm going to put my Stampin' Up! Logo here, and then I'm going to turn this upside down so that the front of my card is against that logo side. I'm going to line that up on the straight line that Stampin' Up! Has provided for me, and then I'm going to close my folder. Okay, I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This will not work in the mini for this particular folder because this is a standard size 6 by 6 that won't fit through the 3.5 inch plate of the mini. So I'm going to use plate 1, my embossing folder, and then plate 4. And I am going to roll that through hinge first. Okay. We can move this out of the way for now. can bring back in our card layer here. Okay, so now what I've done is I've squished that all together. It now looks like one solid piece of cardstock, but two-toned. Okay, so now we can set this. Actually, we can go ahead and add this to our card base. And you know me, I'm going to do that again with liquid glue because this is a 3D embossed piece. And liquid glue works the best, in my opinion, for those 3D embossing. I got a little drip of paper here. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Or not paper, but glue. And then let's just add this to our card front. And it is now ready to go. Okay, but I've got one last thing that I'm going to do here. And that's, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella glitter brush pen. And I'm just going to brush that across the top. And I don't really care about the center part because I'm going to cover that up. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Wink of Stella here and there on my snowflakes, just to give it a little bit of a shimmer. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and set that aside. And let's start our decorations. Okay, so we're going to do some stamping. And I am going to take this piece of basic white, and I'm going to actually bring in my Stamparatus. The trees in this set are large, and you need the E block to stamp these, which is this size. And I have a hard time holding these, so I opt to use my stamp positioning tool whenever I can. And I know that this is retired, but I will continue to use it because I love it and it helps me out. So we're going to put this in. Okay, I'm going to put that up solid there. And then I'm going to take my old olive ink and I'm going to ink up my tree. Okay. And I'm going to do a better job of inking that. Oh, hold on. I made a big old mess and I will have my hand in that. Let me get that. I dropped that pad. Oops! I know that happens to everybody. So let's just get this. And then we're going to give this a good ink. Some pressure. Let that sit for a minute. Here's my tree. And then I'm going to switch to the other detailed image of the tree. And I'm going to pull out my garden green. And I'm going to ink that up. And I'm just going to press that down. And there is my tree. Okay, so I've got that. Let's go ahead and, oh, I didn't get my chamois wet before I went live. Oops. We'll clean this up as best we can with what's left on my chamois. And then I will do a better cleaning later. Okay, that'll take care of most of it. That's a pretty dry chamois. Where's my little assistant when I need her? Okay. So we've got our tree. And then we can take and cut this with our dies. And let's grab that die. I actually thought that I had pre-cut this, but apparently I did not. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to grab some Post-it note tape. We actually have, I've done a lot of the die cutting, I think, but I didn't do this part. But we're going to put this, and I'm going to use the large cut and emboss because I'm going to cut more than one thing. Okay, so we're also going to bring in a piece of the gold distressed paper. Okay, this is in the annual catalog and is currently on sale at 20% off. And I did not see it on the not orderable list at this point. I'm going to bring in my Merriest Trees dies. I've already put a piece of adhesive paper on the back so that this will make this a sticker. And I'm just going to put this up here. And then we're going to run all of this through the machine at once. Okay, so we're going to bring in our platform 1, platform 2 for the thin die adapter, base plate number 3. And then we're going to put down our tree, and I'm going to put down my gold distress paper with my garland. Okay, I can move that up a bit so it all fits. And then we're going to put plate 3 on the top, and we'll just run that through. Okay. And we're going to cut that out. Okay, now you could, at the same time, take and stamp your other pieces on this piece of white. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to leave those in there so that they don't get lost. Set this aside. And then let's grab our stamps. And we are going to take the ornament stamp. Might as well pull this out while we're at it. Let's get that out of the way. Set this aside. I'm going to take our ornament and we're going to pull in whatever colors we feel like tonight. So you can pick whatever you like. I'm going to use some cherry cobbler. So I'm going to take a set of ornaments here and I'm going to stamp those down. Okay. And then I'm going to grab some Misty Moonlight. And I've got to clean this stamp. Get that red off of there, hopefully. Okay, let's make sure that's good. Okay, and then I'm going to ink that up in the Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to go a little ways away. Okay. And then I'm going to clean it again. And I'm going to take some Balmy Blue. Well, no, I don't want Balmy Blue. Changing my mind. I'm going to get some, let's see, what other color should we use? I want wild wheat. So let's grab some wild wheat. Make sure this is clean again, because again, my chamois not very wet. And then we'll do some wild wheat. Okay. Okay, now we need to stamp our bears. And we're going to do that with smoky slate. So let's get the baby bear. And then we're going to get the mama or papa bear. And we're going to stamp that right there. And then we're going to take the old olive and the scarf. And we're going to stamp this scarf right on our bear. Line that up, and because it's photopolymer, I can see through that. Okay. And then we're going to stamp the little cap. And I'm also going to do that in the old olive. Okay. So now we have our pieces. Oh, wait a minute, we need a star. I forgot the little star. So we're going to use crushed curry for that. So let's stamp a little star. And you can see how I got everything on that one piece of basic white. And then we need to die cut. And let's see what we already have. Okay, so I've actually done the fussy cutting, because you have to fussy cut this. And where is my, uh-oh. Okay, well let's use the light balmy blue blend, because I'm not sure where I set my, oh, there it is, the dark balmy blue blend. Here we go. I'm going to take my dark balmy blue blend, and I'm going to fill in the white on the stripes of the scarf. And on the cap, just to give it a little more interest and tie all of our colors together. Okay, now these three pieces need to be fussy cut because we have the bear punch and it does not go with any of these. It cuts out a different bear, but these all have dies. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to cut that off, and then we're going to set these up and run them through with our dies. So we've got a star, and it just so happens that I did 3 because there are 3 of the ornament dies for these. And because it's Facebook Live, and I know I'll have an issue if I don't, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of Post-it tape just to hold those down so they don't move, because we don't want to redo them. And I suppose if we had to, I probably have some in different colors already cut that we could use. But let's go ahead and do this. So those are set. We'll take this star, set this. Now at this point you could use a mini machine, but I've got my big boss handy here. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring it back in because it's all set up and ready to go. And I'm going to put these up on here and run them through. Now, had I stamped all those ahead of time, I could have run that all through in one pass with the tree. And it probably would have worked out okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these now. We'll just slide these off, and I'll show you what I do with those right away. So I'm going to grab my mini glue dots, and before these come up missing, I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and my mini glue dots, and I'm just going to pick them up with my Take Your Pick tool, set them on a glue dot, and then I don't have to worry about them coming up missing. And they will be ready to be used. Okay. So if you're cutting things ahead and you have little stuff like this, this is how I recommend that you do up your pieces, just so they don't get lost. And you can also store them in the stamp case this way, already on the glue sheet. Just tear it into the links that you need to fit in the case. Hello, Lynette. Not sure if I saw that you were on. And Cynthia, hello. Okay. Hope everybody can hear all right. Okay, so we've got that. And now I'm also going to take this little star. And I'm going to do the same thing with the star. Just going to put it right there in the middle on a glue dot. Tear that off. And now those are ready and waiting for when we need them. Put my dies back on their magnet sheet quickly. And I believe we are ready to start putting this card together. Looks like I forgot one thing. Gosh darn it. Sorry guys, I forgot to stamp and cut the the tree trunk. That's the word I'm looking for. Tree trunk. And where is my, there it is. Right where it belongs, the pecan pie. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to use this other piece. This one's gotten pretty small. So let's just stamp that. This has a die, but you know what? I'm not going to pull in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. I'm just going to fussy cut this real quick because it will only take a second, and it's a super simple cut, and it's faster than grabbing the machine and setting it up for this one little item. And there we go. Good to go. All right. So let's bring in our other pieces that I'd already pre-cut. Okay, so we've got the little bear. It's our tree trunk. Now I also stamped in the Misty Moonlight, Love and Joy. And I did that in Misty Moonlight. And then I took my pencil and drew around it, and then I fussy cut it. Okay, just so that'll save us some time. Let's go ahead and bring back in our pieces here. And we're going to take our tree and we're just going to put this down. Okay, I'm going to put this down flat. And I'm going to be before I really get this set, I'm going to set this down about where I want it. Okay, and I'm not going to press that bottom because I need to add my tree trunk, and I'm going to need to slip it underneath there. So I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have that sitting up because I haven't pressed it down yet. And we're just going to put that tree trunk right there, and then I'll press down the rest of my tree. Okay, so I was able to slide that under there, and apparently it wants to be really short. Come on. Be nice to me. All right, there we go. Give that a good press. Okay, now we're going to take our garlands. And remember, ooh, I put the adhesive back on here. I like to start at the top of the tree and work my way down. So I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool and push at the edge of that to lift up the paper from the adhesive backing. And then we'll put this on. Remember, this is that distressed gold paper that is on sale for 20% off. And the adhesive sheets are on sale as well if you don't already have those. I noticed that, or I think they're on sale. Maybe don't quote me on that. But definitely look in the seasonal sale and check that out if you need adhesive sheets. Okay. Maybe I should have pre-done these so you didn't have to sit and watch me pull these apart. They're coming apart really easily, but it can be a little time consuming. But I need to get these on before I can put my ornaments on. Okay, let's get that to pull apart. And I'll put this back down. This is a case of tweezers are my very best friend. Now sometimes you can get it where the backing will stay, will come apart from the paper, and then you just have to peel the pieces out of the die. But that did not happen with the distressed gold. Okay, it's a little bit thinner paper, so whoops. And as you can see, that is forgiving until you burnish it down. Okay, so we've got those. Now we can take and put our, you know what, before I put those on, I want to pop my bears up. So, what did I do with my hat, my bear hat? Oops, almost lost it here. Let me see if I can get a hold of that. I'm going to take just the tiniest amount of Tombow here and stick that on there. And I really am putting a teeny tiny amount. Just enough to get that to stick for a minute. And then I'm going to turn that over and grab a mini glue dot. Or a mini Stampin' Dimensional and put that at the join. And then I'm going to add a few more here to my little bear. And I'm going to take regular size dimensionals for my mama or papa bear. And I'm going to pop him up, or her. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these down first. I'm going to set this one right here. And then we're going to put Baby Bear down. Right here. Okay, and now I'm going to add my ornaments. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with the star. And I'm going to put that right at the top of my tree here, just like that. And then I'm just going to start decorating. So I'm going to put wild wheat ball here. And then we'll put a cherry cobbler bauble here. And we'll go to Misty Moonlight. I'm going to use the other bauble. And then we'll go back to Wild Wheat, and let's go. I always like to make these look a little different. Okay, I'm going to go Cherry Cobbler here. And then I'll put this about right. No, let's go put this down here, like so. And then we'll put this Wild Wheat right here. Okay, so there we go, and I have extras for later, so I will just save those and put them in with my stamp case. Okay, finally, for the front of this card, the last thing we're going to put on here is some little Stampin' Dimensionals. And pop up the Love and Joy. This Love and Joy also comes from the Merriest Trees bundle, and I'm just going to put that right there. And there is the front of our card. Okay? So let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's different. So for the inside of this card, we're going to take the We Wish You a Merry Christmas stamp. And, oh, actually, this is going to work, and this is what I'm going to use. I've already got this one done. I'm going to take a bear from the Walk in the Forest. I punched this out. This is also a Walk in the Forest DSP. This DSP is currently on sale for 20% off. The Walk in a Forest paper is also our philanthropic paper, so you get, for every pack sold, Stampin' Up! Will donate $3 to nonprofits who are giving at Christmas time to families in need. Okay, so we're just going to put this in here. And the sentiment here comes from I think it comes from, what is the name of that snoop? Brightest Glow. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yep, hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. Brightest Glow. You will find this in the annual catalog. Okay, and that is stamped in Cherry Cobbler. And now our card is ready. Now let's go ahead and do up an envelope. And for my envelope, I'm just going to stamp a bear. And we're going to take the bigger bear this time. If I can find what I did with my stamp set. Take the actual bear that coordinates with the punch, and we're going to stamp this right on our envelope, which usually I have prepared in advance, but for some reason that didn't get done. So we're going to take this bear, I'm going to stamp him right down in this corner. Okay, I'm going to take We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I'm going to stamp that on the back here in the Misty Moonlight, right in the middle. Okay. And finally, let's get our garden green, and we're going to get that scarf. And we're just going to put that down. All right. So now we have our coordinating envelope with our inside. We're ready to go. And put it in the mail. All right. Okay, well, I hope you liked that project. Our next project is a 3D project. Oh, Lynette, I'm so glad you love that. Okay. So I'm going to get just a few things out of the way. Pick them back up so I'm not got everything right in my way. Let's get this out of here and clean off that silicone mat so I don't stick my hand in the glue. Put these back away. All right, so the next project, like I said, is a 3D project. Sorry, needed to move that a bit. Didn't mean to make anybody sick. Okay, so our 3D project for tonight is a little treat box. Let me get this card back away so it doesn't get damaged. Somebody's going to get that. Okay, so this is the first box that I made using the autumn leaves stamp set and that autumn paper that is discontinued now. This particular pumpkin come from the paper pumpkin from last month. These are what I'm using to give to my Winco peeps. Okay, so I thought, well, let's make a Christmas version in case you need to make something, and let's use the Merriest Trees. So this is the box that we'll be making this evening. Okay, and I've got some of this already done. So we need a piece of shaded spruce. Actually, we need 2 pieces of shaded spruce. I'm using a piece of the Joy of Christmas Designer Series paper. This is in the mini catalog. Okay, I've already pre-stamped my tree. You already saw how I did that, so I don't think you need to watch me again. But I am going to cut this because I want to show you how this one tree can cut into many. Okay, so I've pre-cut for this actually 3 of the tree, what do they call these things? The tree holders. I cut 1 in Wild Wheat, 1 in Pebbled Path, and 1 in Pecan Pie. So you're going to choose which color we're going to use. That's why I did 3. I've already stamped and cut out my ornaments. I've got my star that I cut out of, oh no. Here it is, upside down on the white. I cut this out of the gold distress paper. I've got a bow that I cut from those dies that I stamped in shaded spruce. And then this little Merry Christmas sentiment I stamped on one of the present dies from this set in Cherry Cobbler. And I've used the cottage wreaths because I needed a very small sentiment, and this one has the Merry Christmas. Okay, this cottage wreaths is also in the annual catalog. Okay, so I've pre-done all of that to help us save some time. So let's go ahead and put those back in my little tray so they don't get lost. And we're going to set these aside for the moment. And I'm going to show you how this little tree can be cut into multiple pieces. Okay? Actually, then I don't have one to, well, we'll just cut another one to stick it to. It's fine. We'll do it we'll do it. So I'm going to take this tree. Actually, I'm not taking this tree. Hello. We're not doing that. I need a tree that is 3 tall. 3. Okay? So I could cut this just like this, which is what I did on my original. So I can cut that just like that, and I'll get this little tree right here. Okay? Or if you want to make a 3-tiered tree, you can, first of all, you cut this little one. We'll cut this. Okay? And we're going to get a layered tree this way. Okay, so we'll put this on, and I'll show you how you can layer these trees. Okay, so we're going to take this, and you know what? I'm going to trim this down real quick so that we can use the mini boss, because it will be easier for you to see with the mini boss. And if I just get this down to 3.5 inches, then I can run it through the mini. And it will be a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this here. Okay, so I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab the mini boss. And I'm going to run this through. Set that up just so it stays just so. Okay, I'm going to run that through. Okay. So now I've got this piece, and I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to grab the second piece, which is the 2-layer tree. Okay. And I'm going to cut this one. Okay. Oops, that looks like it's not where I want it. Hang on. It looks like it's shifted. And I don't want that. Get that on here. Get that stuck good. Very important that I get that lined up so it all works out the way it's supposed to. Okay. So now I've got this. And then I'm going to take this third one. And I'm going to cut this one down. Making sure I've got it just so. Okay, this is a little bit tedious, but trust me, it's worth it. You can take the easy route if you're going to make a bunch of these and just cut this tree. And then you've got, like I showed you on the thing. Now I could keep going and cut this to 5, but I'm not going to because we don't need one that large. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to grab a piece of shaded spruce. Because of the way I did this. I need something to piece that onto. So now let's take this little tree die. Because of the way it's going to get set up, I need a... If I were just gluing it down, it wouldn't matter, but I'm popping it up. So it will matter. Okay? Or maybe not. Maybe I could just put dimensionals and make it work. Okay, so we've got this now. All right, we've got all of our pieces. Now, let's bring this in. I've got a little curlicue here I don't want. I'm going to snip that off. Okay. Now I'm going to start at the top of my tree. Actually, no, I'm not. Let's start at the bottom. I'm going to glue this down. So I want this to look layered. And I'm just going to set that down. Whoops. Like so. Okay. Then I'm going to take my second piece. And with this one, I'm going to grab my glue dots. Okay. And I am going to put a glue dot there. And then I'm going to put another glue dot. I'm going to double stack my glue dots. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to double stack that glue dot. And then I'm going to lay this down here like so, covering up those holes. Okay. And then I'm going to take the top of my tree and I'm going to take a mini glue dot or a mini dimensional, and I'm going to put one there and one here. Let me move this more toward the center. Whoops. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to move toward the center. It wants to be where it's at. And then I'm going to take this and piece it in right here just like a puzzle. And line that up. And now I have a 3-dimensional tree. Okay? Looks all layered. All right. So now let's go ahead and we're going to add our, let's make our box. Let's do that next, okay? So we're going to bring in our Stampin', our Simply Scored tool. And we've got these two pieces. And here are our templates. Okay. So let's start with the bottom of the box, which is this piece here. We're going to get the Simply Scored. Okay. And we're going to score this at 1 1/8 inches on all 4 sides. Okay, 1 1/8. So there's the bottom of our box. Now I'm going to put my Simply Scored away because in order to make the wrap work and not just wrap it, which I have a hard time with, and I want to score it because I'm going to make 20 of these. So I'm going to take my wrap and I'm going to score the first score. This, by the way, is 6 7/8 inches by 3 1/4, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to use the right side of my trimmer for that measurement. So I'm going to go to the 1/2 inch mark, and then I'm going to rotate this 180 so that my 1/2 inch is over on the left, and then I'm going to go to 1 5/8, and I'm going to score again. And then 3 11/16, which is 1 tick mark below 3 3/4. And that's why we're using the trimmer for this, because there's no 16ths on the Simply Scored. And then the final one is 4 7/8. So those measurements again are 6 7/8 by 3 1/4 inch, score at 1/2 inch, 1 5/8, 3 11/16, and 4 7/8. And the bottom, so that's this one, if you want to take a screenshot. Okay, then this one is 5 3/8 by 4 1/4, so you can get 4 of these out of a sheet of cardstock, and you're going to score on all 4 sides at 1 1/8 inch. Okay, So we've got that. All right, let's go ahead and move these out of the way. We don't have to do any cutting on that. And on this one, I like to cut on the long sides, but I'm going to burnish my score lines on all 4 sides. Okay. And then on these long sides, I'm going to take and cut up the score line on the side that has the rectangle, the large rectangle on both pieces, so that I'm cutting those score lines out on the tabs. And then I'm just going to give that a little miter and this a little miter so that I'm cutting out that score line completely, but I still have a straight edge here. And then I'm going to cut that side. I'm going to flip this and I'm going to do the same thing again so that I cut up to that score line at a miter. This just makes your box finish better. And then I'm going to turn that 180 degrees and I'm going to do the same thing again, cutting up that score line on the rectangle side, both ends, so that my score line is on my tabs. And then I'm going to cut out that score line with a little bevel cut. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the edges here, so that when I'm done, this is what my piece looks like. Okay. Now we're going to grab some tear and tape that I have laying right here. Almost at the end of this one. And I'm going to put this tear and tape right up next to the score line, not over, but next to. And I like to take a straight edge to tear my tear and tape nice and cleanly. And then I'm going to put this again right up to the score line, but not over, and a piece at the edge. That will hold everything nice and tidy. And the reason why you put the tear tape right up to this score line is because that way you won't have a gape at the edge of your box when you put it together. If you put it further out, then your edges will gape. And I don't like the way that looks. You may, but I do not like it. So I want to ensure that my corners are nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to burnish that down. Then on this piece, we're going to burnish on all those score lines. And on this one, I'm going to put my tear tape. This is going to be the bottom, on the bottom, and I do not want it right up next to the line because I have just a tiny little gap. So I'm going to put my tear tape in just a tiny bit from the end on this one. Okay. Okay, so now if I lay this down, you can see that there is a little gap here. Okay. So we're just going to take the backing paper of this off, and I'm going to fold on the second score line with the 1/2 inch tab on my left. First score line second, I'm just going to fold that down, and then on the first score line over here, I'm just going to lay that flat, make sure those edges line up, and I'm going to give that a burnish. And there's the slider for my box complete. Okay, let's set that aside for just a moment. Let's make our box bottom. These slider boxes are the easiest type of box to make because you just have to make this bottom piece, which is the simplest thing, and the slider part. Excuse me. And then we're going to do that. And now I'm just going to fold that over on the score, bring the cut line up to the score line, press that in, Repeat on the next corner. Cut line to score line, making sure that I've got a nice tight corner. Press that in. This is why I like tear and tape. If you use liquid glue, which works great, then you have to hold it until it sets and dries. But I don't have to do that with my tear and tape. I can just press it in and it won't move. And then as long as I burnish it, that's not going to come apart. When you have problems with boxes coming apart, a lot of times it's because you didn't burnish down the adhesive, and that is a requirement. Okay, so now here's my box. And we've got some Loker minis that I got at my local Costco. And they were on sale. So that'll fit 2 of those mini packs. And then this is going to slide right inside my box. Okay, now we're ready to decorate. But I find it easier to decorate this if I just lay it flat. So I'm going to put my Designer Series paper on. And this Designer Series paper is 3 by 1 3/4 inches. Now, if you want a little narrower border, then you would go 3 1/8 by 1 7/8. But this is paper efficient because you can cut it into 3s. And a 12 by 12 or a 6 by 6 cut much better at 3 than they do at 3 1/8. So we've got that. Now you need to decide what color of base you would like. Here are your options. So you've got pecan pie or pebbled path or wild wheat. Oh, thanks guys. I'm glad you love those cards. So wild wheat, pebbled path, or pecan pie. What color base would you like? Go ahead and type that in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start decorating my tree. Okay. So I'm going to take and put one ornament here. Yeah, let's do it differently. Let's take the wild wheat. And I'm going to hang this up here, like so. And then I'm going to take a cherry cobbler, put that down here, and I'm going to finish up with pebbled path here. Okay. And as you can tell, I've got several ornaments. I will keep those, use them later. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my star. So I'm going to grab a glue dot for that. Pecan pie. Oh, looks like pecan pie's the winner. Okay, pecan pie it is. Let's put our star up here on the top. And then I'm going to, well, no, actually I don't think I need to. I got that close enough. I don't need to add anything else for stability. So that's good. Okay, so we're going to take, and I'm going to set this here for the moment. And then we're going to, okay, I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue here. And I'm going to put this down here. I want to see where it's going to be at. I want to keep my paper showing. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm going to take this whole piece that I've just put together. Okay, that looks good. Yep. And then I'm going to flip it over and get some Stampin' Dimensionals. What did I do with my large ones? Here. And because this is a treat box, I'm going to be generous. So they're going to be opening and closing this. Okay, so then I can take and put this down here, like so. We're going to take the Merry Christmas, and I'm going to put this on here. And because this is a 3D project, I am going to go ahead and pop this up, because it doesn't matter how tall it gets. So we're going to put this right here at the bottom here, like so. And then I'm going to take that little teeny tiny bow that we cut out that was stamped in garden green. I'm going to take, I'm probably going to, I need a half of a mini dimensional. And I'm going to pop that up right here in the middle, just like that. Okay, the last step here is to get out the Wink of Stella. Put a little bit on our ornaments. And then we can put this together. Okay. And now we have a cute little tree. Okay, so now you can see this. This one is just the flat stamped and cut with just the 3-tiered die. And this one has a little bit of depth with the layers, because you can see how that's layered in there. So you decide how you like the trees. You can do that all the way up to the 5-layer tree. And there we are with our projects for this evening. I hope you enjoyed those. Here's our card. And here are our 3D projects. All right. Thank you everybody for joining me. Remember, the Merriest Trees is carrying over into the new year, so if you want it, get it in the bundle before it goes out of stock, which I predict it will. So I would think about ordering that sooner rather than later when your budget allows. And the Beary Cute bundle is going to be retiring. So anyway, hope everybody has a great week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Good night.